Basically.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, Douglas. We see that you're on the Zoom call. We only have 4 in person right now, so we're waiting on the 5th so we can start the meeting. All right, well, we do have now 5 in person for the quorum. So if we want to go ahead and get started, we can. Polly, do you want to initiate the meeting?
Yes, I would like to make a call to order, start the meeting.
We'll take the roll call. Duncan?
Here.
Okay. Danielle is absent. Polly?
Here,
Don Hall is maybe on his way. Debbie Reed?
Here.
Doug Wilson?
Here.
Okay, and could you turn your camera on just for a second so we can?
Hold on. It is on, it's just not showing.
Okay. Oh,
There you
there you
go.
I had it covered. That's my technical glitch. All right, gotcha.
Awesome, thank you for that. Devin is absent. Don Maxwell? Here. And then Susan? Snyder Sandler?
present.
All right. So we have 5 in person, 2 absent, and 1 potentially arriving later. So you can go ahead and start.
All right, the first order of business is to look over our meetings from our last meeting in May. Is there anyone who wants to make any adjustments to those meeting minutes? Second.
All right, there's been a motion to approve the minutes for May 16th, 2022. And I'll now call the roll to approve those. Polly,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes,
Don, Maxwell?
Yeah.
Susan Snyder Salmon
Yes.
and Duncan.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Motion passes.
Excellent. Well, we have some administrative business with some of the conference scholarships that are coming up. Drew or Tammy, could you talk to us about some of these scholarships? What you found?
Well, Susan is the only one who has expressed interest in them. Staff is technically not eligible. We have our own funding, so there's still an open one, an open position. If someone's interested in going South Bend this fall.
We scroll and see the email from. Steve about that. So for those who haven't had a chance to read through it, CAMP, which is sort of the Historic Preservation Board meeting beforehand. That's on September 27th, Tuesday, and then the conference itself is the following Wednesday through Friday. There in late September. And the nomination deadline for a scholarship is August 12th. And we can nominate 2 people. I am all in favor of Susan getting one of the nominations. Is anyone else interested?
Well, I always go, I'll take one if it's available, but I've been so many times that I don't want to take a scholarship if somebody wants to go who hasn't been.
We probably shouldn't plan to run.
Finally here.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome.
Yeah, I've been upstairs for 224.
Oh, no.
No, I'm looking hard.
remember there was something I did that I could go, otherwise I was not supposed to do that.
So I guess.
Yeah,
We were doing it just to.
Right here on the cover.
We'll fix that.
Person 24.
We'll fix that.
Yes.
You are.
hey, I was here 20 minutes ago. I've been up there going, anybody coming to speak tonight?
We've been up here at least twice already now, I think.
Yeah, I know, we've been down there. I saw it on that email and then I saw it here and said,
Yeah.
I guess I changed it.
Yeah, we'll fix that for the next time.
We were just discussing the upcoming Preserving Historic Places Conference. It's in Fort Wayne, Fort Bend. South Bend, sorry, long day.
I wish it was in Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne would be nice. It's in South Bend this year in September. There's 2 scholarships available to the board. Susan has asked that she get one of them. Do you have any interest in going?
I have to check. I may be in Japan.
Okay.
Things are still up in the air. It's supposed to be August, now it looks like September. So I don't want to commit to something I may not be in the
Yeah.
country.
Well, I don't think we have to decide until August, what was it, 12th?
Yeah.
That's the latest to
apply.
We would have one more meeting.
Mhm.
So maybe we should just wait.
Okay. See if anybody else wants to attend or can attend. I can
The
double
camp
check
is a
my.
really good thing to do if you haven't done it, because it really does. It is a mission training kind of thing.
But if nobody else volunteers, I'd be fully supportive of you using the other scholarship. Great.
How much does it cost to go to that?
It's about $50 for the meeting for 3 days, but it's, then you have to pay for a hotel, so add a couple of.
This one, I think, covers some of the hotel.
Yeah,
The
but
2
scholarship
scholarships
covers,
at half the hotel.
it covers all of it if you have a roommate.
I think it's wonderful if the 2 of you want to go.
Well,
So
we should
be it.
use them for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a
it's
really,
wonderful.
yeah, saves a lot of money.
Yeah. We can follow up on that next meeting.
Good.
All right, the next thing is to revisit the Kings Road rezone from last meeting. And where we are on that.
I don't know if I have an item in the packet for this one, but it did go to,
That was the.
this in here.
Yep, that is it.
So this was voted on the last plan commission meeting on Tuesday of last week. And they voted 5-4 to pass on positive recommendation. In addition to the condition of approval that was crafted by this board review with the assistance of the planning department. So the next steps for this one is going to go to the county commissioners. So that will likely go not this coming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday to the work session. And then typically the commissioners will hear it a week to 2 weeks after the work session. So there'll be updates regarding that. If any of you want to be included on those updates and looking at the packet or wanting to attend that meeting, let me know. I can include you in those email conversations. Otherwise, it'll be going to the county commissioners for the final vote. And the petitioner has reached out to planning staff and I believe some of the members of the board of review, basically saying that they are looking forward to hopefully getting a final approval and initiating that historic preservation overlay rezone that was conditioned in the first one.
So we do need a written commitment,
Mhm.
and I think the board had selected a committee to come up and draft that language so that our legal attorney, our county attorney could review it. So didn't know if that had happened or.
And I was unclear on whether we had to wait for the planning commission
So-
first or.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a done deal, whether
Okay.
it's gonna get approved or not, but in order to be approved at the formal meeting, which is in 2 to 3 weeks,
Okay.
that has to be recorded, that has to be in place. It has to be a written commitment that they're willing to do the rezone. So,
So then the 3, it's Devin, Susan, and myself, we can draft something and send it, should we send it to Drew? No?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and you can then share it with Mr. Voorhees.
Yep.
And Dave Schilling.
Yep.
To make sure that everybody's on board.
Yeah, I remember legal had reviewed that language that's shown on the email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did anybody from this board attend that meeting, that plan commission meeting?
No, I'll say that there's one person who always thinks somebody should be there from the board, but like,
Well, I
Other people think
somebody-
it's-
I think somebody should always be
yeah.
there. So could you, one of you characterize why it was 5-4?
Neighbors.
Yes, a lot of neighbor turnout. A lot of neighbors were nervous about the use of the property becoming a tourist home / cabin, which is the primary reason for the rezone request in the first place. So they had a lot of concern about that. That was pretty much the main divide, was a lot of, I think each of the members that actually voted against it in the meeting, actually explained a different perspective that they had and their reasoning as to why they voted no. Whereas all of the members that voted yes were pretty much on the same page.
I will add that Commissioner Thomas voted for it. And I think she was interested in obtaining historic preservation overlay for this site. That doesn't mean that neighbors still can't sway her when it comes time for her to make the commission with it. I have seen that happen before.
Sure. So they were concerned about it being about the comings and going of tourists.
Yeah, noise and traffic are the two main points that I saw.
Mr. Voorhees talked about concerns about it being like a party house, basically. Neighbors didn't want that.
Yeah, and I don't think he wants.
And he
that
doesn't
either.
want that either, but that's still their concern. That's what I recall him saying.
So is it? I'm sure I remember that, was it proposing practice?
Bed and breakfast would require that somebody be living or on site all the time, like either manager or owner. And a short-term rental, like Airbnb, is just anything less than 30-day rental.
I don't remember that.
How did we handle it with the grocery store at the Beals?
The Sanders.
I can't remember without, going back through the minutes and all. Because I know some of the neighbors were really concerned
Yeah.
about traffic and noise, parties, etc. For the letter, might be a good idea to go back through the minutes and see how the board, ammunition.
From what I can recall from the Sanders store petition, they were just asking for a straight rezone for preservation overlay. Not, in this case, they're referring to ag road or certain zone. So it's a little different. There's another set of pieces that come with it. With the Sanders store, a lot of it was traffic. And the highway department listened and went out and was proactive and put up some stop signs and corrected some movement and a lot of education of like their timing about cutting through. I mean, and I think just those minor improvements being heard, like helped. I guess a lot of not having interest in it anymore. I think they like seeing the progress and the improvements. Have you seen the gas pumps? So it's a little bit of a different rezone type. And then they went with, they generically called it a tourist home, but they created their own rules with it. So it was almost like a mini event center. And we had to really scrutinize the parking with that one because it was so tight and really restrict their numbers of people allowed because we could not have people parking on the streets there. And their septic was a very limiting factor as well.
And they ended up buying the house next door in order to make the lot meet certain requirements.
Yeah, they shifted that so they could fit a septic. And so,
Okay.
All right.
A little different.
Any other items to talk about with this one? Going to the next.
Do you have a proposed timeline? You guys might have something that we can at least take back to Jason for his.
Within a week.
Okay.
Within a week, and so that way there can be a week to review. Does that sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
New business, there's a property on Maple Grove that's requesting HB overlay.
All right, so yes, so this one is a new business item. It's for the HB overlay designation for this property. It's at 4595 North Maple Grove Road. Owner is David William Ray and Mary Lucinda Ray. It's zoned state residential 1, but it has several historic structures on it. If you look through the report packet, there's a number of exhibits that kind of outline the historic nature of this property. Petitioner's letter, as well as the historical overview and historical documentation exhibits, that's 1, 3, and 4. Those items really kind of outline and provide a lot of good information about what's going on in the property. I don't know. Get rid of that. So basically, this will be going through the standard rezone process, but it's going to be first heard here, of course. And they're looking for the designation to preserve the property and provide the overlay on it. And they're basically, the end goal is to sort of adjust the existing barn to accommodate another dwelling unit. They've lived on the property for quite some time, and they're transitioning away from living in the home, downsizing a bit, and living in, or they would like to live in the barn structure after converting it, doing some interior renovations to make it livable. Trying to think of any other really high level items on here. I inherited this one from Tammy, so I don't know if you have any top level things that you want to.
One thing we didn't really fully tease out of the petitioner's information that they provided was what specific criteria are they triggering that makes this become a sort of preservation locally designated property. So I think there is a section in here that I know in the past, like the Ward House, like they came to us and they were like, I think it's this, this, and this. And then there was some negotiation and we boiled it down to, I think, 2 points. So in this one, we don't have anything selected at the moment. And so that does probably need to be a discussion point tonight as to what are the qualifying characteristics. I don't know if I'm saying that
That's a
correctly.
decision that the commission makes about what criteria to match the property.
I mean, I think at a minimum, it could qualify as the distinctive characteristics since it's noted as outstanding in the Shard and the 89 survey.
Mhm. So I think this is the part right here that we're looking for your expertise, maybe you guys having had to read the information to pull out and tease out.
Are there any walls?
There are.
There are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some pretty big
ones.
very small.
For one thing, you need to help preserve the walls.
Broad patterns. Number one, maybe.
A lot. I can see in the picture now.
Yeah, he has one map that he provided. There's a dash line that shows you the wall. Completely
That's,
encircles
yeah,
the swimming pool area. And it's not to say there may not be other things out there that, that a board member might see that even, like, I think to include, because I remember that. With the Ward House, we were adding little tidbits here and there, like this was the post where mailbox was. And it was important because of, you know, it was just like, we didn't think to include that as a thing to preserve. So I think that maybe we could also do discussion. To see what's out there, and if anyone, you have been on that property.
Oh,
before,
so-
don't you? Yeah, so if you think he's captured everything in the map, then like, you'd know better than we would if we left anything out.
I just, you know, after reading what they sent us and then looking at the criteria again, I would say definitely 1, definitely 3, and probably 5. Because this is a pretty much intact farmstead from early settlement. It has, you know, a very early 1800s log cabin on it, which is intact. Which was used primarily as a summer kitchen, but we don't really know that it wasn't used as a settlement dwelling before that. It has a fireplace in it. And they've kept it up pretty well. And then distinctive characteristics of a type of period of construction. The house is quite unusual. I mean, you know, it's definitely an outstanding house, which means it was go on the National Register by itself as a single property. And it's already in the National Register in the district. There's quite a long description of it in the National Register nomination for Maple Grove Road because it was such an outstanding property. But it's an intact farmstead, so it has the early settlement cabin, then it has a succession of barns and garages. It has another dwelling, another house, a secondary house, which we think was probably for helpers, farm workers, managers. And then the wall configuration is really unusual because it actually has an enclosed pasture, which now has a swimming pool in it. But originally, that was a garden and it was enclosed by stone to keep out the animals.
And there's a grave.
Yes,
Yes, there's a cemetery.
Is it a full, like, I wonder, I think there's definitely one headstone, I think I remember reading, I don't know.
I've forgotten about that. That's right. So in other words, it tells the whole story of the farmstead. It isn't a remnant. I mean, it's the whole thing is still there. Now, there may be some missing pieces that we don't know about, but it's very unusual to have. That's why it's rated outstanding. Not only is the house itself outstanding, but the fact that the ensemble is all intact. And the barn is quite remarkable. I mean, it's a whole hand hewn barn. They say it dates to the middle of the 19th century, which is probably right. And so distinctive characteristics of a type, period, or method of construction would apply to all those buildings. The log cabin, you know, and they all have what's called integrity, which means that they're all in reasonably or very good condition. And then high artistic values I put in there because the house is just so remarkable. I mean, there aren't a handful of them in Livingston.
And
Early settlement.
Right?
Yes, correct.
Sorry, yeah, it's brick. And not very altered. It's got a little bit of an addition on the back of it. And I don't know, usually you don't include 7, but you never know. But 7 is usually for something that points to archaeological unknowns. So you don't. You don't usually just throw that in just because you throw it in because, well, sometimes graves would make it happen.
I was thinking of like a mound of that.
But yeah, or like in a early settlement site that had been where all the buildings had been lost, where somebody might go in and start looking for post holes and things like that. In this case, I wouldn't include that.
With the discovery of artifacts or anything like that that pertain to the early settlement, would that maybe loop in number 7 or?
Yeah, if there was a depository, like sometimes there's a trash heap or on my property that there's a couple of places like that where things were just thrown. And I mean, it's several feet deep. I've never excavated it, but there's stuff at the surface. So that I would say those 3 for sure. You don't usually use high artistic value if you don't have kind of standalone outstanding property like the house.
It
And
is
the work on the
outstanding.
entry and, yeah. it's just
Yeah,
very
the porch
remarkable.
is, you know, and they, the family, the Bauer family first, and now this family have taken care of it. Because they haven't really altered it. Yeah, and I think all those early farmsteads on Maple Grove Road in the National Register nomination have the #1, has had #1 as a qualifier. Because they all tell the story of early settlement along Maple Grove. Those 8 or 9 farms.
And then they tie in countywide with the.
You could probably do it too, but I don't actually know enough about this, about the people. I don't remember from their record.
Yeah, I was wondering who's buried there. I mean, I couldn't even find record of the cemetery.
So,
I'll do some research on History Center, see if
I
there's
think
any record.
their paper didn't say who it was.
I didn't see anything in there.
I just skimmed it.
Is that an appropriate question to ask?
The original owners were the Owens family.
Yes,
Um,
but
They
it doesn't mention whose headstone is there or if
Right.
there's more than one. I saw one leaned up against the fence. I was just cleaning headstones yesterday and a white oak, and so it's very much in my brain that who's there.
They mentioned that some of the Owens are in Rose Hill, but not this particular gravesite.
I mean, there's no question that this property qualifies for local designation.
I didn't see photographs of the print shop in the nomination. What is that
I'm not
look like?
sure it's still there.
Okay,
I thought I saw it on the map.
it is on
It's
the
on the
map.
map, but I'm not sure it's still there.
That might be,
That may be what I'm calling the other house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
it
you're
is,
right.
it is. Yeah.
it kind of has maybe had a dual purpose.
oh, that yellow house.
It's the first building you come to on the
They
left,
call it old apartment.
old print shop. you know.
Yeah,
And that may have, I forgot the history of it, that was probably its original use.
maybe a more clear designation of photos, the terms that match their map. Just, and I'm thinking for prosperity's sake, 50 years, we're not gonna know what we're talking about.
We've got extensive stone walls. I mean, they're like everywhere.
Are the stone walls on the map too? No, that would be nice to include where the stone walls go on the map.
I found in the chart database, the cemetery. Reference. It's called the Owens, Rankin Cemetery,
It's called Owens what?
like Rankin, Owens Rankin.
Yeah, I've not had a chance to check shard. I did a quick look at some of them crowdsourced.
There's 2 stones.
Their letter says that during that time, let's see, the property remained the Owens family for 100 years before being sold. During that time, some Owens family members were buried next to the stone wall to the left of the home, now considered a historic Monroe County Cemetery. Many of the Owens family are also buried in Roseville.
It might be good to include this cemetery registry from Shard in this report here also.
Yeah, that needs to be added for sure.
Mhm.
And doesn't list any names.
Owens Rankin, and there's just 2 stones that they acknowledge.
It looked like there were 1 or 2 there.
And it's not even that great of a picture. It looks,
Okay, maybe I need to go volunteer and get that cleaned up.
Yeah.
I think you do. I'll help you with another one.
Yeah, if they could update with more photographs and match to the map. And then
Yeah.
putting dry stone walls on the map, that would be a really good reference for the future for me to look and see.
on the map that he provided.
Mhm.
They're kind of like a dashed line. It's.
Can you scroll back to that?
Yes. And I had made, like for the ward.
Oh, okay, there's not on the legend. It's all the trash.
This is the print shop, but this is the shed.
Okay.
He's got at the top. At the very top, he does say. it's-
Oh, it's good. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I missed that. I was looking at the legend more.
The petitioner need to be here for this meeting.
That's what I was wondering, like, I was surprised they
They
weren't
have to be
here.
for
They
CFA.
did, I mean, gave them the information.
Yeah, they received a letter of acceptance that had all their dates lined out for all the meetings, and then I sent them a reminder this morning.
Oh, so they should be here.
I don't know, if with reservation that we like require, some committee meetings require applicant to be present. I'm not sure about the rules of procedure for historic preservation
I
overlays.
can
Well,
start
see it.
looking at
For
that.
CFA, I think they have to.
There's some chat. David Ray is on the call if you have questions.
There you go.
David Ray is on, thank you, and that was a half hour ago, that's when I first up in this. The chat, sorry.
So is it?
Tech services, do you mind letting David Ray letting him talk?
He's been promoted.
David, you're welcome to chime in.
You're on mute.
You're on
but,
mute.
We can't hear you. Can you see the note in the chat?
How many times have we said that over the last 2 years?
He's- 603, setting is still on.
Sean is unmuted. Oh.
Yeah, there you
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, all right. Yeah. Sorry, I was on, but I guess I wasn't a panelist, so you guys couldn't hear me. But a couple clarifications. The print shop is like what we call the old apartment for like guests to stay at when they're visiting. My wife lived there in college. My kids have lived there off and on. So it's just like a little, I don't know, maybe 600, 500 square foot little guest apartment as needed. The cemetery, the people in the cemetery, it was Mrs. Owens was married before she married Ben Owens. And she dug up her first husband in a cemetery in Bloomfield and moved him to this location. Is one of the people buried here. So it's her first husband and then her brother is buried here. So that's the two people in the cemetery. Can't remember what other questions you have. My wife and I just finished the dry stack stone wall class in Lexington, Kentucky about 2 weeks ago. So we've hired it redone, but it's so extensive that we're going to do it ourselves. It just got too cost prohibitive. So we are now both trained and qualified to build stone walls. So we've got a couple sections we're going to redo. And I'm trying to think what else. We're planning on moving out into the barn and let my daughter and her husband and kids grow up here. We kind of wanted it. My wife's the second generation, you know, her parents bought it. She grew up here and now our kids grew up and then we want our grandkids to grow up here. So that's kind of why we're doing the overlay. So we can continue having family live here, but we're not ready to leave. So we thought restoring the barn would make financial sense because we restored the log cabin, but it's just sitting here. We put all the money into it and we're not using it. But with the barn, if we restore it into a living space, then we can restore that and then have a place to live rather than buy someplace in Bloomington when we prefer to live here on Maple Grove. So that's kind of where we are.
David, I have a question about the Owens family.
Yep.
Maybe you heard what we were talking about. We were talking about the criteria that would apply to the designation of this property.
Yes.
One of the criteria is an association with the lives of persons significant in the county's past. So, and when I looked at the obituary for the Owens, I mean, it says basically like all obituaries from that period, it tells how much money he had in his pocket. But I mean, it sounds like he was a pretty well-known and significant person in the county at the time he was, you know.
Well, I think there was only like five homesteads like in 1819 when the log cabin was built. So it was one of the original like 5 farms, I think. And then when the Owens built it in 1864, I'm trying to think what he had a brother that was maybe one of the presidents of IU or something like that. So I will have to go back and dig into the records.
Are they related to the Owens from New Harmony?
You know, unfortunately, my father-in-law, who knew all this history, has passed, and we have binders and boxes of the history. So when we put this together, my daughter did the bulk of the work and read through a lot of this and put together the document. I can get back to you on some of his history within the county and where in some of that. I know it was 2 brothers and they were both prominent in town, but I don't know, like, I know one was affiliated with IU and I don't know what, I think he was just a farmer. I'm not sure.
Do the names David, Dale, and Richard sound familiar?
I'm sorry, they don't. I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's
I will dig through the boxes and get a little bit more history, and I can email them into Tammy or somebody that you want on the board there, and
Okay.
give you some more background. But Frank kept meticulous records and all kinds of info, so it was almost overwhelming the amount of stuff that we had. So it was interesting, but I'll have to dig through and get some of the specifics on the Ben Owens.
Yeah, it's clear from the history that you gave us that John, who is the immigrant from Ireland, ultimately owned over 2,000 acres, and then he seems to have left it to the people who built the house.
Okay.
So he was clearly an early settlement person. It's always a little tricky to tell what it means when you say, you know, a significant person in the history of the county. I mean, if you're the first person that got here, I guess that makes you significant.
Okay, I'll find out his significance.
I don't think he'd be related to those Owens because they came out of Pennsylvania.
They came out of Scotland
Well,
to New
originally,
Harmony, but yeah.
I will find out the significance of Ben Owens.
The IU part. Unless I wouldn't have thought of it.
We're just excited that we're the second longest in the line of families that have lived here. They lived here for almost 100 years. So my wife's family and her have been here since '84. So we're second in line. My daughter put in the list of all the owners. I don't know if you saw that or not, but it's gonna take us a while to bump the Owens out. But right now we're number 2.
So maybe we want to wait on that qualifier. I don't know, we could talk about what's a significant life of a person in the county's past for a long time. Usually it's somebody who becomes governor or, you know, prominent state senator or president, or somebody who had an active social role in the, you know, a suffragette, or, you know, somebody has some kind of community leadership. I'm not sure being one of the first 5 farmers qualifies, but
I think there's more than enough to go on without.
oh, there's
that.
plenty, yeah, but you know, if it's there, you want to acknowledge it.
I guess I would encourage us to something along the lines of among the first 5 families,
Yeah.
just to sort of, de-center the idea that you had to have been a prominent politician. I think we need to look more at the social history possibilities and not just the political history possibilities.
Right.
So, yeah, there's enough, as you say, there's enough other stuff to qualify, but I think this is our chance to say, and you know, we should also observe that this person's an early farmer. And,
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
no, not at all, not at all.
I agree. I think the arbitrariness of being a politician or maybe that may be the standard, but there's a whole lot more to history than that.
Well, the word is significant. I mean, that, in preservation lingo, that's the debated word. Okay, so you have to, if you're gonna say it's a significant person in the guy's past, you have to say why that person is significant. So I'm not saying farming is
Oh, I know.
or being one of the first five is meaningful, it is. But you have to sort of set your own level of what's gonna qualify and what's not.
He's a pretty good builder, buildings are still there.
Well, no, he didn't build the buildings, he bought the land. And he bought 2,000 acres of it, so he did something before he got here.
Had resources.
Yeah,
Yeah, because back then, 160 was almost the,
it was a homestead, but
Yeah.
this is major.
this was 2000.
Yeah, that wasn't a criticism of what you said.
No, I know.
There's a chance to.
I just know from sitting in these discussions about the word significant, you can teach a seminar, what significance means.
So do we want to have another, to the next meeting where staff can add in the examples of the wording of, for each example that we hit, significant factor, and maybe some of the board members can help you with that?
Yeah, that's something we can do. We can get some text in here specifically from the discussions we've had. That way it's a little more formalized before a vote can actually be made. And that can provide some more time too for the applicant, Mr. David Ray, to provide information that you guys can mull over about the significance of the person. So we can have that ready potentially by next meeting. And then outside of that, this rezone overlay petition will proceed through the regular channels. So it will likely be heard by the plan review committee before it gets back to you guys. I think that that's acceptable. I'll just summarize our discussions here today and say that, you're pretty much on board, just trying to hammer out some final details.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt we recommend it for designation. It's just, we haven't quite got all the criteria figured out yet.
And next month, July 18th is our next HP board meeting. And then the 19th would be the plan commission meeting where they could potentially just vote this, or give it a recommendation, and send it to commissioners. So,
Yeah.
it'll be good timing.
So if we vote on it, there's still enough time to put it in their packet for the next
Not
time.
in their packet, no,
Just
you would
put
get
it
it there, we would write it down and then put it in PowerPoint slide.
But enough for them to vote on it.
Yeah. And it's possible that they may want to waive that final hearing request and want to see the whole packet as a whole.
Let me scroll up to the meeting agenda. Or the sequence of meetings for this petition here.
Mr. Ray, does that make sense, what we're talking about with the timeline?
Yep, that sounds good. So you want more, just to be clear, you want me to get more information on the historical significance of the Owens, Ben Owens, and then you want some more pictures of like the cemetery? Anything else you want pictures of?
I don't think so.
Okay,
And
And
then in the application, you have to hit certain criteria, so we're just gonna draft language for that application.
sounds great. And then if anybody wants to come look at it, I mean, we're 10 minutes away from where you're sitting right now. So if anybody, you can email me or call me or whatever, anybody's certainly welcome to come out, and we're open to any advice and suggestions if you guys want to take a look at it. And you don't even have to build any stone walls. I won't make you do that.
And I misspoke with the timing of meetings. It doesn't go until August to the plan commission. Okay. So
Yeah, we have time.
definitely time.
Yeah, we got plenty of time. We're still waiting on a structural engineer to do his report, to come out and evaluate the barn. And, we're not in any hurry. I mean, we're talking to Lauren Wood to do the construction, and it would be over a year before they can actually start. So we have plenty of time where it's not anything we need to ram through. So just whatever you guys need, let us know, and I'll try to do some research on the historical significance of Ben Owens. So. And thank you for considering us. I appreciate it.
All right, any other items for discussion on this one?
So are there two admin meetings?
Yes, so the standard procedure is that it goes to the plan commission twice, once as a preliminary hearing and a second time as the final hearing. Most applicants request a waiver of final hearing, however, it's just kind of a time saver for everyone if the plan commission feels like there's enough information that it can be voted on, rather than having to go through a whole second meeting if everyone's on the same board about a certain petition.
So usually the second admin meeting is if there are still questions.
Correct. Or if there's a lot of neighbor turnout, sometimes the planning commission will continue it to provide neighbors more time to get together and have more conversations about something. So I guess the earliest that we could see this potentially being approved by county commissioners would be, let's see, regular meetings in August. So late August, early September would be the earliest of final approval.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so, okay. So all we're really asking for clarification on is some of that. So we don't want a motion on this today then.
Not necessary. I think that this is a lot of good information and great headway. So we can, the proper term makes would be continue it to the next meeting, or is that how everyone would like to do it? Does there have to be a vote on continuance? Using Tammy as my,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Yeah, it's not for that.
it's safe to say you're continuing it, because we didn't formally advertise it. in the
Right.
paper and whatnot. So we take a vote to continue the discussion. for the next meeting. Makes sense.
so then we would be
do
looking
need
for
a
a
vote or
vote.
we don't need a vote?
I think it's wise to just do a vote.
I move that we continue this hearing on the Owens property to our next meeting.
I second.
Okay, the first motion and a second to continue this petition to the next Historic Preservation Board review meeting, which will be July 18th. July 18th. A motion or a vote to vote yes is to approve the continuance. Don Hall,
Yes.
Debbie Reed,
Yes.
Doug Wilson,
Yes.
Maxwell,
Yes.
Susan Snyder Salmon,
Yes.
Duncan Campbell,
Yes.
Polly Ruth Sturgeon.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. All right, thank you. It's did David already sign off? I'm not sure, but.
I'll sign off now. Thank you so much. I'll get you the info. Good night.
Okay, great. Moving on to the next item. Oh, it's the limestone one? Okay, all right, well, I have some photos here. Susan would like to share.
Well, that's a sign. We had a really nice day. And I think that being there was, for me, it was helpful. A lot of work. Probably had 35 people in total stop and talk to me. Not including Polly's family. I think that it was the first time that there was an awareness that there was such a board at this. There was some recognition, the poster, the Alexander restoration, there was people expressed appreciation. So there was some knowledge of that. There was some knowledge of, and that was kind of like what we do, and people are going, oh, well, that's neat. I never knew you did that. People like helped people, and I thought, hey, that's a cool thing. I used a lot of pre-existing materials, which I still have, and I'm going to inventory. So we have a list of these things that stick on. I use double sticky tape on those. But I'll have an inventory of what's available, so we can use it in the future. There was a visitor who asked if we were the group that was trying to turn the quarries into a tourist attraction. I had no idea what that
Is there
was.
some group doing that?
Yeah, the city just bought the land.
Is there such a thing?
County, the county,
Yes.
excuse me, county, yes.
A lot of people swim.
And I'm interested in
What do we do at the course?
learning more about that.
I
and how the
assured them that we
board
were
can be
not.
involved.
Right. They want there to be an education center on limestone industry
Okay,
as a part of that, but it's still in the very early.
yeah, I got the
stages.
sense that they thought it was a theme park, and I thought, okay, I could just envision
Wow.
that
I think
working.
The intersection with 69 and the bypass, it's the northwest corner of that.
Okay,
Oh, icebox.
yeah,
Yep.
got it.
Well,
Been there
let's
many
all-
times.
Yeah, well,
A piece of property has been purchased,
okay.
but it's like Tammy said, things are
Again, that's not us.
really in the early stages.
It,
A few years ago, some of the information that I have seen, it's not anything like those people are,
Sure, it's not possible.
you know, talking about. It's more education, artistic, recreation, but not,
Not theme
Kings
park.
Island. It's not gonna be a
There
Kings
might be
Island.
an amphitheater.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's actually really kind of nice. Anyway, I told her we weren't, that we were a board that worked with property owners, so I hope that was appropriately covered. There were some people that were just happy that there was, that you volunteer to do this. Yes, so far. But it was fun just to talk with people and awareness that, like, some people love the idea of old barns. That it just, I think anywhere you're able to even touch and plant a seed that says, hey, there is someone who cares about preserving, that it'll pay off down the road. So I think it was, even though there wasn't 100 people there, and maybe in the next years it'll grow, but everybody that came by, like, I think came away with something of value.
When was this exactly?
It was the first Saturday in June. Which I don't remember the date, but
The 4th.
yeah. And Polly needs help moving tables next time because she was, and Devin was a charm. He just, I put out a word because of death in the family. My husband was not going to be able to be there as my support in carrying and lifting and putting up. Devin showed up and helped me get everything put up, and it was just really great. So did I not send a picture of the three of us?
Yes, I think so. I should have.
And I put all the education, all of the
There you go.
all of the outlines for every age group. I had copies of those, because hoping if a teacher came along that I could entice them to start using that curricula.
Cool.
But yeah, there we are. And it turned out to be well done because it blocked the morning sun and it blocked the afternoon sun. I was very good.
So we're planning on making this an annual event. I will probably move it to the second Saturday. It's to
A lot of
the,
competition. that
Yeah.
first Saturday.
and just more promotion, and I can only see it getting more attendance as we go on, but I think having the board presence there was really, really valuable.
I did do a lot of referral to one of her booths. Because people wanted to know why the Salem limestone was here, and I said, you go talk to the guy down there, and he will explain the geology. to you.
Cool. I've been seeing stuff on that from Bill Holiday on Facebook.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One of the guys out there.
Oh, yeah, and then the tic-tacking of the work was right behind me, so I kept, my hearing aids kept picking up. And there was one family that drove all the way from Evansville.
Yep.
Because they saw it on the YouTube channel for the geology.
And somebody came from Chicago too, and then made a weekend of it, so I thought that was really nice.
And a young woman from India, but she was studying it.
Yeah.
So
That was really nice.
I think it was worth it. You know.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Susan.
All right.
Success.
No, not the work plan.
Work plan. Well, we checked one thing off to participate in the limestone festival. We've made progress.
last thing.
Very good.
Yeah. There we go. All right. This is the last item on the agenda. I believe.
There has been some new things added to the website. A couple of new links and a link to the Privacy Symposium. I gave a talk to their group a week ago or so, and they were very thankful that we added them on there.
Tammy was able to get my name added.
Anything on the dressed-on wall?
Yes. They helped back here because she was in touch with Gail, some issues that they had. The wall was damaged. Tree fell on it.
Can you remind me if we were to have the Conservancy come and give us a training, how much does that cost?
I don't know, she's been the one who's been
Okay.
in touch. She's not on the subcommittee, but she's historically been the one who's been handling that communication with the Dresto Conservancy.
Didn't she put in her message that she wanted to have that conversation?
Maybe next week, we can ask about that.
Just a reminder, we are on the North County History Club's agenda for May to do a presentation.
That's right,
Oh,
maybe next
the
year.
last Tuesday of the month. To do a presentation on Drysdale Hall. Oh, good.
It's like next year.
Yeah, but it's not too early to be
Right.
thinking about
No,
what
you're
that would
right.
look like.
You gotta start thinking.
Photographs, and who's gonna do what, what's gonna be on the meeting. I will do whatever helps.
And then we can go to the lake property with drystone walls, we can go take pictures of.
Well, exactly. I was just thinking, that you invited us. maybe we should want it. And we could do it, we could do a video. If you can jump in there, but do a video of them actually repairing. I think, and maybe have them as a part of the presentation. Right away. Again, it's, people who come to this, there's about 200 people that regularly come to fundraise. And they're from all over, and they know everybody and they know what they're doing. So it's a really good group to touch base with as a future possible source for finding walls that are hidden back in the woods or wherever. There's a couple of folks that do a lot of active metal finding just in obscure places. So I think it's a really good place to plant that to help us find this.
They put all of their presentations, they record them and put them on YouTube. If you want to go back and look at those.
Monroe County History Club. I'll send you a link to the site. Bridget,
They meet over
Stucky does a lot, and
else. No,
I think this tomorrow, if you're interested, you can go. It's at the Legion. Tomorrow is the history of Hoosier hysteria. No, I hope not. But I wouldn't.
No updates that I know for number 3.
Haven't done anything active.
Number 4, we checked off 4C, participated in the festival.
I should probably add to that in relationship to number 3, that while Devin and I were working, we talked, which of course you do easily with Devin. And one of the things that we were just brainstorming about was, maybe there's a way to combine all sorts of different things, like we're looking for stone walls and we want to find them so we can help preserve those. We're looking at updating driving tours. We're looking at community signage. Maybe there's some room to consider going out into the county in these locations that we've talked about, Tinesville being, is that something we want to do or not? So I know that one is weird, but, and just having sort of a listening group to say, you know, what would you want on the driving tour? What would you want? What about signage? You know, what do you know that's here that maybe not everybody knows about? And how many walls do you have back in your property that nobody sees? So anyway, we're talking about that, and he and I both thought that was an interesting consideration. Just throw it out there as something to think about. Get people involved.
I could see something like that being organized at the public library. And then like the
Well, you
Ellisville
go-
branch and have.
Every one of these communities has 5 or 6 active Facebook groups.
Yeah,
You have it like in Benton Township, you have the senior center, there'll be 50 people there. Make it a pitch in and there'll be 100. So. Every one of these places has existing structures to bring the people together.
mhm. And then when we do put together a brochure and things like that, I can't remember what the budget or the process for funding for that is.
I mean, I don't know either. I have not ever been in charge of any of the printing of things. I have to ask Jackie.
And those are the rack cards for the last thing we had printed, and that was.
So many,
right?
though.
Yeah, we still have a lot.
I think that's the last expenditure we have.
Yeah. So if we can find out for the next meeting, maybe how we go about printing things or funding, or do we have a
I
set
mean, we
budget?
can do just normal printing, like on normal paper.
Well, yeah, but like a run of like 500 brochures or something.
Sure.
Was it something that we could have available as a PDF, like the visitor center could download and print for themselves?
Yeah.
And I get stuff there for the trail maps for our area.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering if that would be it. Then we don't have the cost. Someone else is.
We can put it on the website and all that too. Number 5 is,
We already did that.
we already did that, done. And then I haven't heard any updates on number 6.
Yeah, I was talking to Danielle about. Since that meeting, let's talk about it again for a minute, since that meeting with legal. Where we were basically told, if you want to do demolition delay, write an ordinance.
Yeah.
If you want to redo the preservation ordinance, write a new one. And we'll take it through the process. So I was encouraged by that in the sense that the door is open to do these things, which it hasn't always been. But it's a daunting task. So my suggestion to Danielle was that we at least start with the models that we have, which are the ones that are Bloomington City. The potential downside of that is maybe we don't want to present it because that's where it came from.
Right. Change this one.
Let's say that out loud. Yeah, but I mean, we have really good, a better preservation ordinance at the city than we have at the county. And we have a better, and they have a demolition delay ordinance, which has flaws, but it works fairly well. And we did some research into those. So we found a few other ones that we found that we liked. We haven't gotten back together.
Oh, pretty much the same, it seemed like.
They're very similar, yeah. But some people use different criteria. So we might add some criteria that the city doesn't use, but so it's kind of daunting to know that, yes, you could probably get it done you can get it through the process of which would take quite a while in and of itself, but you still gotta provide these documents. And Danielle reminded me that I had an ordinance for the county that I gave to the county several years ago when they first started talking about having this commission, which didn't go anywhere at the time, but I told her I would try to find it, and I have not been able to find it. And it's the same, it's basically the same as the city ordinance with all of the protocols of county administration, so commissioners instead of mayor. So on, but, so I'm still trying to locate that, but I haven't found it.
Would there be a copy in the file somewhere now? Are there historical files?
It's been a long time. I gave the copy to legal when they were writing this,
What year would that have been?
well, it was before this, the ordinance we're operating under now was written, and it was written by legal based on the state enabling ordinance.
Yeah.
And when I presented the Bloomington one with amendments and said, look, this has been trouble, we've been troubleshooting this for years, and we've updated the state ordinance to do these different things differently, and, you know, it seems like that would make sense for the county. I just got this sort of stare that like, no, we're doing it like this, we're doing it like this, and they didn't want the input.
I suspect whatever you gave them got filed permanently.
I would be very surprised if it didn't get filed in the waste basket. Is that what you mean?
I wasn't gonna say that on
But that's, you know, we don't have to denigrate that process. I mean, I should have a copy of it, I just can't. But I could do it again. I mean, it's not difficult to just make the administrative adjustments. Because they're very straightforward. So I think that's the task. And the demolition delay task is a little bit bigger. So I don't know, what do you think? Should we just create a calendar for ourselves and try to get some? Because it's not gonna go anywhere. It's so much work. that
It's
not gonna-
easy to avoid.
It's not gonna go anywhere. if
Easy
we
to put
don't
off.
really make it happen. And I've been really, really busy, so I just haven't thought about it, except that I had that conversation with Danielle. We said,
I'll try to. Yeah. See.
okay, so we just had a committee meeting right here in front of you. Okay, so that's the update on that. Not gone anywhere yet, but we need to do it.
Well, I'm happy with how we're progressing through the work plan. We've checked off a lot on the list, and we're halfway through.
Before we adjourn, I'd like to invite everyone, your family, your friends, as a member of the Alexander Restoration Committee. Duncan's on the committee. It's done. And we're very excited. July 4th, 9 a.m. There's going to be a rededication ceremony, party, celebration, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be fun. And lots of veterans will be there. And hopefully our committee, will be in town for the day,
It's at 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Right by the mountain.
Courthouse Square.
Before the parade.
And it's right before, as Duncan said, right before the parade. We're terribly excited. So we'd like any and all to join us 9 o'clock. On the,
Be there, I'll be on my way back to North Carolina.
well, you're sure invited. Let's put this like southeast corner. And if you can't make it, if you have a chance, go see it. Walk around.
It's beautiful. Just so proud of your
so
efforts.
cool.
Yeah.
So cool. And it's done. How many years? Yeah.
Years of effort.
It's
Well, David Dencho from this community started on it with us.
Yeah, yeah.
Before he moved it back to Indy. So
Yeah.
that's been at least 5 years.
Yeah. They invited Cheryl, his wife, to be one of the speakers.
Right.
And she has had some severe health problems for a couple of years. She was on tap until probably a couple weeks ago. So I think they have a replacement, but I don't want to say for sure. I'm almost sure they do. I mean, obviously, they're gonna have someone. It's gonna be fun, music, little flag waving.
It's 4th of July.
Yes. But please, if you, again, if you can't make it, make sure you go see it. It's really, really something. It's really something for Monroe County and especially all the veterans, past, present, future, and those who have died for it. So go see it. It's cool.
Well, back to the booth, there are a lot of people who had seen it and who expressed gratitude. Good. So, and I said, and look here, all of these were replaced, and they look at them and go, wow, that was really in bad shape.
It was.
It's cool to see them on display in the courthouse
Yeah.
too.
The analogy that I use all the time, this, I know it makes me sound like a 5-year-old, what the heck, okay? The Wizard of Oz, when the witch melts, right, okay? Whatever cleaner they used, no, it's just everything, just the stone just melted, And now it's just gorgeous, and all the hours and, it's just, you gotta come see it. It's cool.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for all your work. Grueling process.
Oh, you want to thank all the men and women that, the cutters, the carvers, and they're definitely two different. okay?
Yes, they are, aren't they?
I could go on and on. The sawyers, the hookers, all of them. Those are all quarry terms. Yeah, so it's really neat.
I don't think we have any other business. This was a short meeting, but seemed productive. Thank you all. I'll make a motion to adjourn, and thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tech Services.
Thank you. What's in the sky?
Bye, Doug.
See ya.
Susan?
So thanks.
Thanks for
Sandy.
doing that, Debbie.
Well, it's not me. It's lots and lots and lots of people.
All, everybody who was involved. It's a very Monroe County thing that whole project was.
One other thing, Doug, since you just said that, first of all, thank you. But it's been an incredible experience. Lawrence County and Owen County mills and fabricators also participated in this project for Monroe County.
Yeah.
Is that really, it's so special, so special.
As it should be. That's great.
Please go visit.
They're in the courthouse for the old house.
Right when you walk in.
Okay.
They just-